Your heart medication isn't the threat. But when the murderous summer heat bleeds into your neighborhood, it acts like an unseen villain. It will use your own daily pills against you, unless you build your armor before you step outside. The healthcare system can feel like a maze of closed doors and hidden secrets, but you don't have to navigate it alone. This is the clinical watchdog, unraveling the mysteries of modern medicine so you can take back your power. Look outside your window right now. If you are living through this current suffocating summer heat wave, you know exactly how heavy the air feels. The sun is blazing, the asphalt is baking, and the digits on the thermostat are climbing into a lethal danger zone. For most of the population, a heat wave just means cranking up the air conditioning and staying indoors. But if you are living with a cardiovascular condition, or if you are protecting an older family member who does, that 90-degree threshold is not an inconvenience. It is an active, aggressive, and immediate threat to human survival. A massive warning siren just went off in the medical community. A groundbreaking study buried in the pages of JAMA Cardiology has exposed a catastrophic blind spot in how modern healthcare manages heart patients during extreme weather. The researchers tracking these population health trends have projected that the true cardiovascular death toll directly triggered by rising summer temperatures is on track to nearly triple. Now, the clinical establishment measures this massive loss using a sterile metric called a DALY, a disability-adjusted life year. They love using clinical acronyms because it sanitizes the horror of what is actually happening. But on this channel, we strip away the jargon. Let's translate the truth. A DALY is a healthy year of human life violently stolen from you. It is the missing year you don't get to see your family. It is a year of your retirement hijacked by a sterile hospital bed. Right now, environmental heat steals 138 of these healthy years for every 100,000 people. But the new data reveals a terrifying trajectory. By 2050, that number shatters the charts, skyrocketing to over 418 stolen years. And here is the darkest reality of this data. Even if the global temperature doesn't rise by a single fraction of a degree, our rapidly aging population guarantees an automatic 34% spike in these sudden heart emergencies. The medical machine is ruthlessly efficient at setting up assembly lines to hand out daily pills to protect your heart, but it completely fails to prepare the patient for how their body's reaction to those exact same medications changes when the summer sun hits the pavement. To understand exactly why 90 degrees is the ultimate tipping point for a cardiovascular collapse, we have to look at how this trap is triggered in the real world. This doesn't happen to reckless people who ignore their doctors. It happens to the people who follow the rules. Let's look at the final hour before a medical emergency. Let's look at a patient named Arthur. Arthur is 68 years old, physically fit for his age, and what the medical industry enthusiastically calls the perfect patient. Back in the freezing depths of January, Arthur had his routine checkup. The doctor noticed his blood pressure creeping up into the warning zone. Following the automated medical conveyor belt, the physician quickly wrote out 2 scripts, one for a beta blocker and one for an ACE inhibitor. The clinical transaction was executed flawlessly. Arthur was told to take these pills every single morning to protect his heart. He followed his orders to the letter. Fast forward to the middle of July. It is a blistering afternoon. The local weather network is broadcasting a severe heat advisory because the temperature has officially crossed the fatal 90-degree mark. Arthur looks out at his property and decides to get some yard work done, confident he can handle the heat. He takes his morning pills to protect his heart, grabs his tools, and steps into the sun. He feels fine at first, but beneath his skin, a silent, catastrophic failure of his central cooling system has already begun, triggered by the way his medication interacts with the extreme heat. When a normal human body gets hot, the brain commands the heart to pump violently faster. This rapid pumping flushes boiling blood away from the internal organs and out to the skin, where sweat glands can evaporate the moisture and save the core from overheating. It is your ultimate survival mechanism, but Arthur needs his beta blocker to manage his blood pressure. The literal chemical purpose of that pill is to block adrenaline and keep the heart steady. Arthur's body is screaming at his heart to speed up and save his life from the heat, but the medication is doing its job and holding the heart rate down. Simultaneously, his necessary ACE inhibitor is actively altering his kidney function and severely blunting his brain's thirst receptors. Arthur is rapidly losing fluids just by breathing the humid air, but his internal low coolant alarm has been muffled. He doesn't feel hot enough to stop. He doesn't feel thirsty enough to drink. His blood volume plummets. His core temperature goes critical. Within 40 minutes, the perfect patient collapses onto the scorching pavement, completely blindsided by how his body reacted to the 90-degree weather while on his life-saving medications. Arthur's collapse isn't a freak accident or an unpredictable stroke of bad luck. This is an automated, built-in flaw operating quietly inside the modern healthcare machine. Spending over 13 years on the front lines of the clinical system, drawing blood, interacting with thousands of patients, and watching the gears of the medical back-end turn, I watched this exact devastating loop play out like clockwork every single summer. Think about how the clinical machine actually functions. You schedule an appointment months in advance. You sit in a climate-controlled exam room. The doctor evaluates your cardiovascular health and prescribes the precise daily medication required to manage your specific condition. Once your vitals look acceptable on a glowing screen, they sign the script and lock you into a 6-month automated refill loop. The transaction is closed. You are sent out into the world on autopilot. But here is the massive systemic failure. The clinical establishment completely fails to explain how the changing weather will aggressively alter the way those medications affect your body if you don't guard against it. When the calendar flips to July and the heat index hits that fatal 90-degree threshold, the medical machine goes silent. Your doctor is not monitoring the local weather forecast for your neighborhood. The electronic medical record system does not trigger a red alert prompting the staff to warn you that your daily routine now requires immediate protection from the heat. The clinical machine is simply not programmed to care about the shifting environment outside the hospital doors. It is a hyper-specialized billing system. It is designed to check a box, submit a code to the insurance company, and flip the room for the next patient. Because there is no medical billing code for summer environmental survival, the threat is completely ignored. The system shifts the entire burden of survival onto the shoulders of an uneducated patient, a patient who mistakenly trusts that their body processes their prescription exactly the same way in a blizzard as it does in a severe heat wave. So how do you survive a system that is too automated to adjust for the weather? You stop waiting to be rescued. You step up and take absolute, uncompromising control of your own biology. If you, your parents, or your loved ones are relying on beta blockers, ACE inhibitors, or diuretics to protect your heart, you cannot afford to wait for the doctor's office to call you. You have to force their hand today. Your first survival tactic is to log into your digital patient portal immediately and demand a summer review. Do not wait weeks for an appointment. Send a direct, permanent message straight to your doctor's office. With the local temperature breaking 90 degrees, does my static winter cardiac dosage require a temporary summer adjustment? What specific signs of heat intolerance must I monitor while on these medications? By forcing this into writing, you compel your doctor to evaluate your chart through a summer lens and place their professional judgment on your permanent record. Your second tactic is initiating a strict hydration audit. If you are taking a diuretic, a water pill, that chemical is doing exactly what it is supposed to do, forcing your kidneys to safely eject fluid from your body to drop your blood pressure. But mix that necessary medication with an intense 90-degree heat wave, and you are bleeding your fluid reserves from both ends. And it is not just water you are losing. You are aggressively flushing out crucial electrolytes like potassium and magnesium, the exact electrical conductors your heart requires to maintain a steady rhythm. Your blood volume can crash so rapidly that it triggers sudden blackouts and massive acute kidney trauma. You must demand a precise, customized fluid and electrolyte target from your doctor and ask exactly how many ounces of water your heart can safely handle in the heat. Your third survival tactic is establishing a chemical curfew. Every single prescription medication has a peak, a specific window of time when it hits maximum strength in your bloodstream. If your blood pressure pill hits its absolute peak at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, and the local summer heat index also peaks at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you are walking directly into a biological ambush. Your body is facing its maximum chemical suppression at the exact same moment it desperately needs its maximum cooling defense. Ask your pharmacist or your doctor exactly when your daily dosage is at its strongest, and guarantee that you are inside a climate-controlled room when that collision happens. Finally, execute a ruthless reality check on your own ego. Forcing yourself through a brutal heat wave to finish yard work or sitting through a sweltering outdoor event without air conditioning is not an act of endurance. It is a fatal miscalculation. If you have cardiovascular disease, that kind of pride is a one-way ticket to the trauma ward. Lock down your schedule, set hard boundaries, and stay inside when the temperature spikes. The data sitting in the pages of JAMA Cardiology is no longer just a medical study. It is a definitive warning of a silent collision. The heat is an invading force, and you have to treat it like one. Let me be absolutely clear. The essential, life-saving prescriptions sitting in your cabinet right now are not the enemy. You need them to keep your heart beating. But when the temperature violently breaks 90 degrees, the extreme weather actively exploits those medications. The heat turns your body's natural cooling system into a locked door, and it uses your own daily routine as a weapon against you. We cannot let what happened to Arthur become the accepted standard. Arthur did everything right. He followed the rules. But the modern medical machine is far too automated to look out the window. It will gladly keep refilling your static winter dosage while you walk completely blind into a summer ambush. That automated negligence is exactly how millions of healthy, vibrant years, those stolen moments with your children, your retirement, your future, are quietly erased from the map. The system is not coming to rescue you, so the responsibility falls entirely on you. You have to build your own armor. The next time the local news announces a severe heat advisory, do not assume you are safe just because you swallowed your morning pill. You must force that conversation with your doctor's office today. Demand a customized hydration target. Establish your chemical curfew, and absolutely refuse to let your ego drag you out into a scorching sun. The heat waves are only getting more aggressive, but you do not have to be a casualty of a blind medical system. Take command of your environment, protect your heart, and never let the weather dictate your survival. Stay loud, stay relentless, and stay safe. I'm the clinical watchdog. I'll see you next time.